Okay, so we're looking for the simplified form of all of this. And we see, obviously, the different answers are potentially what that is. Now, remember, again, chicken eggs, duck eggs, pigeon eggs, we got to figure out which is which here. So we have to find our like terms. And we actually have two different kinds of like terms here. So we have these, I'll call those duck eggs, a squared b, a squared times b, got three of them. And then we're adding three more of them. So let's see, 3 duck eggs plus 3 more duck eggs. Well, that's going to be 6 duck eggs. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, D. And by the way, I already can eliminate at least one answer just based on that. I can eliminate C. And then we also have our chicken eggs, 4AB plus 5AB. Thank you. Exactly. And that, my friends, is it. That's it. And that's our answer. Yep. So D, you see how we got that? D, you see it? Get it? D. Ha. Hee. Ha. Okay. Calm down, everybody. Don't panic. That's it, Carlos. Well, the homework really is, we don't assign homework in here, but the homework really is to go back through this material. Watch the recordings. Go back over the PDF. Review. Practice until you get all the bits and pieces. And then come back to more of these sessions, right? The next time we have an Algebra 2, come back and do it again. Repetition. That's how everybody learns this stuff. Nobody gets this in one session. If this is the first time you've ever seen this stuff, nobody can do that in one session, or maybe very few people. It takes repetition, practice. And by the way, thank you for the excellent participation in the poll. We encourage everybody to vote. There is absolutely no risk in voting in here. And in fact, just the participation will help you to learn. So by all means, vote, even if you're uncertain. Okay, let's do another one here. Note the nature of this question. I'm going to open the poll here. Think about what they're really asking you to find here. Here comes your poll. Have fun. Okay, now this poll, there's a lot of you voting, but the answers, frankly, are all over the place here. So we want to be very careful. And some of you even asked in the chat, what am I just solving this? What am I trying to do here? Let's pay careful attention to the question. How many terms are there? Now remember, terms is like eggs, different kinds of eggs, goose eggs, chicken eggs, pigeon eggs, whatever, lizard eggs. We have to determine how many different kinds of eggs we have here. So we've got some chicken eggs, j squared. That's one kind, right? That's one. Then we've got some goose eggs, the k to the third. That's two. And then we've also got some, whatever, hummingbird eggs, j to the third. I guess that's bigger, so we'll call those turkey eggs, j to the third. And that's it. That's the only three kinds of eggs we have. And D, that's exactly right. So we have three different kinds of terms here. Okay, so give me a Y in chat if you now feel like you understand this question better. Because again, there were most of you, the majority did pick B, but just barely more than half of you went for B here. Half of you went for other answers. So that's what terms really means, different eggs. I keep using that egg analogy. Okay. And again, of course, you know, if you have questions, Boris will help you. So I'm seeing a question in the private chat. And it's about when to do a subtraction versus addition. That's going to be stuff you get out of the number sense sessions, number sense 1 and number sense 2. You really want to attend those if you're not getting that stuff. Okay. And yeah, I will share the poll just to show you that this was a challenging question. You can see just more than half of you picked the right answer, but that's half of you who didn't. Okay. Yeah, Zaire, so again, it's just what are the different terms, terms meaning different things. This is different from this. J squared is different from J cubed, but it's the same as J squared over here. This is one term, this is the same term. So that's just one kind. K cubed, that's one kind of term, one kind of egg. So that's the second kind. And then J cubed, J to the third, is the third kind. That's it. That's it. Three different kinds of eggs. No, Roger, because we're talking about the variable and the exponent that defines a term in this regard. Yeah. In other words, there's one of them here and two of them here, but they're exactly the same kind of egg. So really, we just have 1 minus 2, you could say, of the same thing. So that's like what we talked about earlier with combining like terms. Yeah. Thank you for asking, by the way. Exactly, Mariam. Exactly. There's just two of that particular term. Okay, let's go on to our next one here. Okay, now I just want to address what's been going on in this class and what Boris just addressed in the chat. Many of you are feeling challenged by some of the more basic stuff we're doing, like how does 8 over 6 turn into 4 over 3? We did that earlier. That's number sense part 1 and 2. The next number sense part 1 is actually on the 25th, just in a couple nights. 4 nights from now. So we would recommend you attend that one. That's Sunday, this coming Sunday. Number sense part 2 is on the 28th. That's the following Wednesday, a week from tonight. We strongly urge you to attend those if you're having trouble with some of this more basic math. And then the next Algebra 1 Part 1 session is, let's see, on February 9th. And again, you might want to attend that. Now again, let me point out, you have recorded versions of all of these classes. So if you're having trouble with the more basic stuff, go watch the recorded version of Number Sense 1 and Number Sense 2 and Algebra 1. They're foundations for what we're doing tonight. If you feel lost in here, that's why. You need those foundations. Okay, so let's work over this question together. So we're really subtracting this whole expression, polynomial, from this whole polynomial. But remember, when we're doing subtraction or addition, we have to only combine like terms. And let me just point out, you can think of this as 1 times, -1 rather, times all of this in here. And again, this goes back to number sense, subtracting negative numbers. So we're subtracting -3x, and we're subtracting -2. That's really like adding those terms. So if I remove the parentheses, I'm subtracting 3x squared, adding 3x, and adding the 2. Okay, now I can start thinking, what kind of eggs do I have here? I've got some x squareds. 5x squared minus 3x squared. How many x squareds does that leave us? Exactly, D, exactly. Miguel and Mahibram, exactly, everybody. So that's 2x squareds. And by the way, that gets rid of this answer. Okay, so I've combined the x squareds. Now you'll notice I can rearrange these things. So I can put the same eggs in the same parentheses, 5x squared minus 3x squared. Then I have 2x here, and I'm adding 3x because I subtracted -3x. So this is -2x plus 3x. So folks, how many x's do we have here? -2x plus 3x. Careful, Dion. That's a -2. That's the same as 3x minus 2x. So that leaves us with 1x. And then we have the 1 minus -2. So that's really 1 plus 2. And that gives us the 3. So that's how we ended up here, with 2x squared from this, plus 1 single x from this, plus 3 here. That's right, T. When you subtract a negative number, that's the same as adding. Okay, again, I want to just sort of let you absorb this. And by the way, we can see the answer now. Did you see what I just did? Because it's C. Okay. Okay. And again, just sort of digest for a moment. And let me just point out, like, if you didn't understand why we, subtracting a negative became positive, that goes back to number sense part 1, number sense part 2. You really want to go back to those.